I said earlier that I don't think it's heights I'm afraid of, it's falling? Climbing this tower made me think maybe it's heights. I didn't want to do this.
That was $8 or $9 US we didn't need to spend.
We are officially in country number 5 for this year, which is so crazy because at this point last year, I think we were at country 12. We're going so much slower this year.
It's a very different style of travel, but the US is a big country too, and that took a while. We have been in Quito, Ecuador for 5 days now. This is our 6th, and it's really the first day that we're getting out and exploring the city. We've been pretty much working the whole time.
Trying to plan our time in Ecuador because there's so much to do here, and we don't want to miss any of it.
We're starting today by going to a massive building that you really can't miss when you're walking around the streets.
And we're gonna get some delicious food that we've heard is amazing. Oh my God. We're gonna get this awesome view from a lookout. It's gonna be a good day.
It's gonna be a big day. It is a Saturday in Quito, which is one of the biggest, or the biggest city in Ecuador, so it's gonna get pretty busy later. We're out a little bit after 7 so we can hopefully beat a few crowds. Also, this entire video, we're gonna be puffing because Quito is at such a high elevation, and we're only gonna get higher.
The architecture here is blowing my mind. I just didn't expect it to be so grand and intricate. We are here during rainy season, so it's been raining this morning and it's a little bit chilly. It also seems like they're setting up heaps of market stalls, which will be fun later if it's all on happening. Maybe we can buy some stuff for the Qualitoa loop that we need. And some food. Instead of going to the big building that we were meant to go to, we've quickly called into the main plaza or square of Quito. It is so much quieter than we've seen it before, mainly because Jordan wants to put his drone up.
I think it's allowed here. I can't 100% confirm, but we'll try.
This square is beautiful. There's a bunch of buildings all around, and I think they're used for like government stuff. Quito so far has such a nice and different energy to Colombia. It seems very like calm, everyone's super nice. Basically everyone we walked past this morning saying buenos dias to us. I don't know, they just seem really welcoming of tourists and really happy that we're here, which is really sweet.
And the food we've had so far has been awesome. I'm excited to try more.
Ecuador was somewhere we didn't think we would spend that much time. We were like, oh, maybe 2 weeks, quickly go to the Amazon, quickly go to Galapagos, and then sort of out. But since we've been here, we've just learned about so many amazing things in this country that it looks like we'll probably be here for a month.
So many streets in Quito you can see this church from, right in front of us. It looks so nice.
It literally towers over the city. It's huge. It's very Gothic architecture, so I'm excited to see it close up. But it's going to be quite the hike because we're at such a high altitude and we're going to be going uphill. We've made it to the Basílica, but it turns out it doesn't open till 9 AM, so we're just sitting flying the drone again. But it is so incredibly detailed. It is huge up close. Like, you know it's huge because it towers over the entire city, but it's just crazy when you're actually here. It's like real Gothic architecture. It's so pretty. For entry, I think you can get tickets, which are $2 each, and I think you can climb it, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if you think that's the Condor Tower. Turns out there's a lift that you can get up 3 flights of stairs, then you have to hike the rest of the way. And we're the first ones up here. There's heaps of cafes and stuff as well. I wasn't expecting that.
This building just keeps on going. Oh wow.
We're inside of the clock. And with 2 more floors. I wouldn't say I have a fear of heights. I do have a fear of falling. And that spiral staircase was a bit scary. But this is crazy, we're 16 floors up. Look, you can see the statue.
Emily and I are first to the very top here. There is a massive tour group that got here just before the gates opened and they kind of ran in first, so glad that we could catch the elevator and beat them up here. The architecture up here is incredible, and the closer you get, the better it is, which is not often a thing when you get to architecture. Up the top of this steeple, you have a 360-degree views with not much like guardrail. We're all responsible here. It ended up costing $4 each to get up here. I think today everything's gonna cost a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth it, if only to get the best bearings of the city possible. Okay, now I'm gonna make my way over to Emily. This is the coolest bridge I've ever been on.
You know how I said earlier that I don't think it's heights I'm afraid of, it's falling? Climbing this tower made me think maybe it's heights. That was terrifying. Did you see that it's glass floor?
Yeah.
Oh. How cool that we're here by ourselves though. I like being in the middle, I feel safest here.
Really doesn't look as steep in the camera. Trust us, it's like a ladder.
I have jelly legs. That's
too.
how steep it is.
Speaking of jelly, I'm hungry. It's a great segue.
Great.
Let's get some breakfast.
All right. Backwards or forwards? I didn't want to do this.
We were in the midsection and we went to get a really good view of the city, and we're doing a time lapse, and a guide happened to come out and tell us all about the city for free. He was saying that everything beyond the church where we were up into the hill is Quito Old Town, and it's really particular about their architecture and like their painting, that if you want to renovate you have to get special permissions, you can't change the colors. Really cool.
Need to wash my hands because I guess no one else is as scared as me coming down those steps. There's also not like a proper handrail.
No.
I think my bravery deserves to be treated with breakfast.
I think so.
I think so.
All right. We found a place that was supposed to sell what we wanted about 30 minutes away, but as we were walking out of the church, this place had a sign for it too, so might as well not give up these awesome views and just have breakfast here. It's also something we've never tried before.
Jordan's inside looking at jumpers for our niece, so I get the coffee. Oh, it's like proper espresso coffee. He's gonna be jealous. I feel like I have to quickly down it, but also I know I should share. Tilly is our first niece, and it has been very difficult this entire trip to not just buy everything we see for her, so we have some ground rules set. It has to be colours we really like, it has to be the correct size. And this is the first one that's met both the criteria. She's gonna look so cute in it. Also the dishes here. Okay, so our sisters-in-law have just spent, a month, I think, in Ecuador before we got here, and they said one of the dishes that they are going to miss the most is Tirgillo. The name comes from the word tiger, and it's said that like the appearance of the Tirgillo with all the different colours in it kind of looks like tiger skin, which I get. It's eggs, green plantain, cheese, bell peppers, and we even got eggs on top as well. I'm so excited. It smells so good. It smells really herby, and like onions in there as well. Uh-oh. Oh my god, what does that taste like? It tastes so familiar. Have a quick bite and tell me what that flavour is. Isn't that so familiar? The green plantains is almost like a mashed potato consistency in there. It's all cooked to perfection. The cheese is all melty inside. Oh my god. I think we're in danger with this one. Also, what a view to enjoy it. I'm happy. I have this theory about new dishes, but the first time you try it, even if it's not actually the best one you will ever have, it's always the one you think is best, if that makes sense. So I don't know if we'll get a better Tirgillo than this. There might be ones out there. This is just always going to be the top of our list because it's the first one. Next stop is like a 5-10 minute drive away, so we're waiting for an Uber.
We were very excited to ride the cable car to the top of the mountain, but apparently it's temporarily closed, according to the website. Even though Google says it's still open. I don't know if it's closed for the day or closed for the week or just closed for the morning, but it doesn't look like we're getting up there.
There's no reopening date. It might just be shut until further notice, or shut for good. How crazy, no reopening date, nothing. What a bummer, we just paid $3 to come up here. Don't make our mistake. Okay, Centro. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe it was shut yesterday. What a joke, but we've come back to the historic centre. It does look like there's some sort of market on. So we're just gonna walk around.
That was $8 or $9 we didn't need to spend. You'll notice that all our conversions are in US and Australian. We don't have any other currencies, and that's because Ecuador uses the US dollar, which we had no idea about before we got here, but apparently the Central Bank of Ecuador used to use sucros, and they had a really close relationship with the government, and they printed way too much. Inflation went crazy, so they had to switch. But obviously Ecuador can't print US dollars, so they have to export bananas and coffee and all their exports to get enough of their currency in to be able to have like a surplus. It's really interesting, for me anyway. Like the least planned we've ever been. We're gonna see if we can go in this building to go to where we see other people on the roof. Don't know. $3 per person to get up there. We've already spent enough money. Not too bad when a day where things don't go to plan turns into sweet food. Good?
Yours is like meringue. Ooh. $1 each. So these two together were cheaper than one of us to go up to that viewpoint. And way more tasty.
Good decision. Wow, that's up there with most beautiful churches.
For sure. I'm not sure if that is the gold church that's in Quito, but if it's not, it had a lot of gold.
A lot of gold for a church that's not a gold church.
I also met the sweetest old man. He came up and he was like, "Where are you from? America?" And I said, "Australia." And his eyes went so wide. He was like, "Oh, Australia," and gave me the nicest handshake. It was so loving. Let's keep walking around.
All right. Saturdays are pretty crazy. I think the next thing we need to do is grab some lunch. Yeah, let's try this one.
We have come back to the main plaza for lunch. There's this little cafe that we've decided to sit at. They have this Bolon, like dough ball thing that Jordan really wants to try. And I found out why the cable car was closed today. Turns out yesterday or the day before, about 70 people got stuck on it overnight. So it's a safety issue.
I really don't know. It's like a dry banana bread. It's hot. And there is cheese in there, but I haven't got to any of the cheese. Try one more bit with a bit more cheese on it. Not for me.
It's like cheese in a fried pastry. It's like a mozzarella stick. I win.
They can't all be winners. Sometimes we find places you shouldn't go. Nah, that's harsh. They might have some good stuff on the menu, but just not where we go. But we can always make up for it with ice cream. How was your day in Quito?
Good.
Glad I waited. Testing. Ow, bit my tongue.